So when we find that philosophy, it is just then the choice becomes very, very easy. Becomes very easy. Actually, there's no longer any choice. And that's very, very comforting, very nice. See, everyone is looking for authorities. Everyone. But we're looking for the perfect authority. We're looking for the person we can just put our faith in and then everything is taken care of. That's what we're looking for. And that's Krishna. That's what Krishna claimed throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita, throughout the whole Bhagavatam. That's practically the purpose of the scriptures. That Krishna says, he gives all these to Arjuna. He gives us, there's all these things you can do. But he always tells him, but if you do this, if you do Sakarma Karma Yoga, you get this result. Right? You will become entangled. And become entangled means ultimately you will end up in Adharma. Adharma, my dear Arjuna, means suffering. But it's your free choice. You want to do it. That's why it says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, now I told you all this, now what would you like to do? He doesn't say, now you have to surrender. Actually, he says that in Samadana pretty nice. He says, surrender to me. But he just instructed you, like giving an instruction, this is your options. So he gives all these materialistic options. And then he gives the spiritual solutions. And he says it's your choice. But again, there's actually no choice. For Arjuna, there's no choice. When he gets to really understand the philosophy behind the religion, so to say. Because he's constantly with Krishna, not constantly, but he has Krishna as his friend. So he's very religious. But due to being covered by Yoga Maya, he does not really have the philosophical understanding. Truly. But that gets after Krishna explains what is Dharma, what is Adharma, what is Naimittika Dharma. Then Arjuna ends up and say, Krishna, actually, there is no choice. Nasta moha smitya latva. Nasta moha, you just destroyed the illusion. Smitya latva, and now I regained my memory. That's actually what Krishna consciousness is all about. Regaining our memory. Prabhupada said that I came here to teach you what you have forgotten. Nasta moha smitya latva. Tvat prasadam mayaschita. And it's only by your prasad, by your mercy, Krishna. Stitosmi gata sandeha. Now I'm firmly situated, and gata sandeha, there's no more doubt. So now, karishi vato antava. Now I'm completely ready to follow your instructions, to follow Dharma, my Dharma. So we should come to the same conclusion, and we should help others come to the same conclusion. Because there is no choice. There's no choice. We have free will, but there's nothing to choose from. The choice is you want suffering or you want unlimited happiness. There's no choice. Everyone wants happiness. So it's only due to envy that I don't want that kind. I don't want any authority. I don't believe there's a person who is unlimited, powerful, and can do with me whatever he wants. I don't want that to be. One thing is you cannot change. No matter what you do, you cannot change that. So many demons tried. Hiranyakashipu, the most powerful demon in existence, he tried to kill Krishna. Jarasandha, he tried to kill Krishna. Kamsa, he tried to kill Krishna. And all the demons sent by Kamsa, they tried to kill Krishna. In so many ways. Putana came as the false guru, trying to and actually she bewildered the whole of Raj. All in Vrindavan became completely bewildered. Why? Because he took this beautiful, beautiful form. Extremely beautiful. And in nature you think, wow, she's beautiful, she must be pious. So they saw her shining, I don't know what color eyes, right? Let's say that blue, shining blue eyes and long black hair and a beautiful bodily limbs. And she was allowed to go all the way into the inner chambers of Nanda Maharaj's home, where the Krishna Gopal Krishna was lying in this just a few weeks old. Nobody stopped her, and everybody thought she must be the goddess of fortune coming to see Krishna. So she smeared some poison on her breast, and she wanted to give it to Krishna. And said Krishna, when he saw her, he immediately closed his eyes. There's two explanations. First is that our child gives that one thing is that he had killed so many babies in Raja. So Krishna didn't want to see this avatar, this sinful person personified. And what is the next one? She knew he would kill her.
She was a woman, and he wouldn't like to see a woman die.
Yeah, so he had to kill her, and she was a mother, so he didn't want to kill her. But so what did he do? He killed her body and gave her entrance into the spiritual world. And it said it was extremely painful. When Krishna sucked her breast, it was extremely painful. She cried, "Leave me, child, leave me, child." And then she ran out of the house and just ran in panic while screaming in intense pain as Krishna was sucking out her life force. So that's there. Right? Everybody has to go through anatana vidhi. Putanishi got it in a few seconds. We take it in small steps. It takes in small steps. But in one sense, the same purification. We need to go through the purification. That's why there's good times and there's hard times in our times. Because if there's no hard times, we will lose our dedication. We will lose the focus. Prabhupada says spiritual Katha, Krishna Katha, means understanding the material world and understanding the spiritual world. It's mentioned in Sri Upanishad. Should not be understood side by side. So one kind of Krishna Katha is hearing about Krishna dancing with the gopis. But another kind of Krishna Katha is hearing about how this material world is a place of suffering. Dukkha Sasvata. Because unless we firmly, thoroughly understand that, we will at one point lose our determination. At one point we will lose our determination. Because at one point we will come to some kind of comfort zone. It's nice to be. And then it's so easy to just say, okay, here I'll rest on my laurels. Here I'll just lie and sleep peacefully. But as we hear, that's not also in one sense an option. Because if there's no progress, that means losing, going back. So when at one point we'll come to the point where now life is fine. I'm in the mode of goodness. Everything is kosher. That's where we need the determination and hear how terrible the material world is. Even though it's perfect. But the perfect of it is that it's terrible. Because if we attach to the material world, that means you'll take birth in the material world. So we need to end up with there's only one attachment. And that's serving Krishna, serving the devotees, pleasing Krishna. That's the ultimate, only attachment we can afford. That's Ikiha Kulananda, one-pointed attention, as Krishna says. If there's one-pointed attention, then that's the ticket back home, back to the spiritual world. But most of us, the Yasa Yapikapuri, many branches, many branches, so many purposes, so many things we want to fulfill. So we need to make it one point of attention. Mam, as Prabhupada is mentioned here, Mam Ekam Sadanam Raja. Eka means one. Mam Eka Sadanam Raja. Only going for Raja. Only going for Raja. So this is what the Vishnu Dutas are asking the Yama Dutas. Okay, do you know? Do you have philosophy to back up what you're saying? You want to take away this land, but what is your philosophy? What is your philosophy with this? Okay, he was doing sinful activities, but what you missed here, he was chanting the Rhyme. He was chanting with a complete intention, with one point of attention, with no deviation. He was chanting the name of Narayan. That gives him the eligibility to go back and back to it. So you don't understand. You haven't understood it. What are you doing, you fools? How can you take such a post if you do not know what is your job description? So they are teaching them. And because the Vishnu-dutas are so extremely powerful and so extremely also beautiful, the Yama-dutas, they listen. And then they go back to Yamaraj and say, is there somebody higher than you? And Yamaraj, when he hears this, he doesn't say, oh, now they found out. He says, now at last I can start speaking some philosophy here. See, there's no Bhagavatam lectures for the Vishnu-dutas or the Yama-dutas. They do not hear Bhagavatam every morning. And Yamaraj is one of the Mahajanas. And he's associating with these Yama-dutas that do not have any inclination for discussing Krishna consciousness. So at last they're coming there, Yamaraj, are you not the supreme authority? And last year he has an opportunity, now he can sit down and open Bhagavatam and say, oh no, Bhagavatam, Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the real. Krishna is the personality from whom everything comes. He's the origin of all the other incarnations. He's my origin. Even Narada Muni, he asked Brahma, you're the creator of everything, isn't it? And Brahma said, yeah, but I have a creator. And it's only by his energy, his powers, that I'm able to create. So then, by the Yama-dutas, they actually get the purpose of life. They get the purpose of life. First by the Vishnu-dutas, and later by Yamaraj. So let's take that opportunity of serving the Supreme Authority very, very serious. Because we are the few chosen ones that have been chosen. Maybe because, as we hear Lord Nityananda, he gives the mercy to the most fallen. So maybe that's our qualification. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what brought us here. If it was intense suffering, or if we were whatever kind of the four persons coming to Krishna consciousness, in whatever category we're in, it doesn't really matter. What matters is now, how do we use that invaluable gift we have been given? How will we use it? Will we take advantage, or will we just say, okay, let me just hang out here because it's nice. Let me just find my comfort zone and just hang out. That's our choice. Thank you very much. Any comments or questions?
I was just wondering, because these attachments that we have also to the material world, these things to be precise, it's just we should go straight for the higher taste, but still these things remain. Is it not that we should try it out and understand that it's not for us? Then there's no real joy.
See, there's no need. That's what most people do. But Prabhupada gives the example: one who's intelligent, he will learn by hearing. One who's less intelligent, he will learn by experience. And a fool learns in no other way. So there's no need to go through all these things. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Yahisham spasa javoka dukhaya nanayacha adhyantavante kutya nati suramati buddha. One who's intelligent, he does not take pleasure in the sources of misery. So he does not, this very beautiful description, Prabhupada translated fantastic this verse. He does not take pleasure in the sources of misery. So when you contemplate that, there's no pleasure in misery. But that's what we are trying. We try it out, right? Because there's some kind of pleasure there. But it's the source of misery. So even though there's a little pleasure in the beginning, it ends up in misery. So Krishna says, one who is intelligent, he does not find any pleasure in the sources of misery. He skips that part of the program and goes directly to what the whole thing is all about. And that's what Prabhupada does again and again in Bhagavad Gita. Even in the third chapter, in the most beginning, first 60 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about Naimittika Dharma, mostly. But Prabhupada speaks about Nitya Dharma. Prabhupada speaks about pure home service. Because it says we have no time to go and follow the nitty process. Oh, I'll try to find some happiness here. Oh, that didn't work. So let me try here. Let me try here. So no, that's not real. We shouldn't cheat ourselves. We shouldn't cheat ourselves. Again, we've been given the solution to all problems by Moshe Dutch. That's medicine that heals this nirvitatasha, this hankering for material enjoyment. We've been given the medicine that heals us, so that we don't need to go through this suffering and disease condition, identifying with matter. That the living entity bewildered by Maya sees himself as a product of matter. Samohito is bewildered. So Atmanam Srigunatmakam, he says Atmanam Srigunatmakam is a product of the three elements. Paropi Amanoti Manacham, despite that he's completely transcendental, and therefore he undergoes sufferings again and again. So when we fully understand, I am transcendental to this body, I might not have realized it, but I am. So that's where we use our intelligence. When we just say, okay, I'm a stupid, I'm a fool. I made so many mistakes in my life. And that's why I'm in the situation I am now. I'm identifying with the body, and I'm in a body, and I have all these problems in my life. But I can change that just by rising above that, so to say, by listening to Krishna. Just by listening to Krishna. That's why it's so important, and it cannot be said enough, that we study Bhagavad Gita Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Because otherwise we will just, that's actually probably ends the purpose here. What did it say? The question posed by the Vishnudutas was very suitable. One who represents someone else must fully know that person's mission. The devotee in Krishna conscious movement must therefore fully be aware of the mission of Krishna and Lord Caitanya. Otherwise they will be considered foolish when they preach. All devotees, especially preachers, must know the philosophy of Krishna consciousness so as not to be embarrassed and insulted when they preach.
What?
Or insulted when they preach. So when you go out and preach and you cannot really back up what you're saying, you will be insulted and you will be embarrassed. And that's a disgrace, not only to us, but to Prabhu. So it's our duty, because we're preachers. We are in this movement, preaching movement. So we're preachers. It's an embarrassment to go out and preach if you have nothing to say. I think it was Roosevelt said, there will never be a time, this is a materialistic person, there will never be a time when I will not be embarrassed when I speak, when I have nothing to say. If I speak when I have nothing to say.
I was just thinking that, like you were saying, that the most important thing is to learn from hearing, but we also know that this Varnashram Dharma, or the four orders of social life, so it's also very honorable and not embarrassing to become rightly situated and follow the rules and regulations under the instructions of Guru, Sadhu and Sastra, and in this way maintain your equilibrium, then sometimes trying not to go through the school of hard knocks, because one can say that, for example, I was just thinking, like in the Grihastha ashram is more complicated and entangled in many ways than to stay single brahmachari like that. But if you do it in a regulated way, then it's also, you can say in one sense it's the school of hard knocks, because you deal with the material energy in a much more intense way, but at the same time one is protected by doing it in an honorable way.
Yeah, that's...
For the ones who now... anyway.
I'm definitely not speaking against the Grihastha ashram. It's because that's part of Krishna's system.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if it's whatever ashram we're in that sense. It really doesn't matter. What matters is how we use that ashram, how we use that facility to avoid doing the same mistakes again and again. That's really the purpose of it. And Nectar of Devotion says we should not take, how is it, more, take higher steps than we can easily maintain. So we should not artificially try to do something we are not. But what are we? We are not this body. So we need to, at least we need to work hard to transcend the body. And again, if we follow the process, it might be we are still struggling. It might be we're still having small fall downs. Yeah. But Krishna says that doesn't matter. He very quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. Even if he commits the most abominable activities, he's still considered a son. He's still considered a Buddha. Because he's probably situated in his determination. Very important, he's probably situated in his determination. That means he knows what is my purpose. But due to the weakness of the flesh, the weakness of heart, there might be temporary fall downs. And Prabhupada even says that in the purport, that he should still be considered a devotee, as Krishna said. But Prabhupada also, he ends the purport by saying, but one should not take it as an excuse and go out and do all kind of nonsense, saying Krishna will give. Prabhupada said that means he's not a very good devotee. So we are all struggling. That's the nature of it. We have a material body, we have a mind, so we are struggling. But we just need to take the shelter. If we take the shelter, the struggle becomes much easier. Because we have the philosophy to back up the nature. If the philosophy is not strong, we will become weak. It is simply that easy. If we are not philosophically strong, we will be weak. Very last comment.
I was just wondering, because you talked about the Caitanya demon and how she got through anatani vritti very fast. So I was just thinking, how does anatani vritti generally take place?
How anatani vritti generally take place? That's what we are going for. So it's all from the daily struggle of getting up early in the morning, doing what the mind opposes. That's an anatani vritti. By doing this, Prabhupada says austerity is to do what you would not normally voluntarily do. So austerity means doing something for a higher purpose. So that's what we're doing, and that in itself is anatani vritti. And then on a more subtle level, Krishna is working within them. So he's Chitudar Paramacharan, and he's purifying the heart. We see these anattas as they disappear. The thing is that they will not disappear like this and they're gone. They disappear, but then they come back. Like the whole thing with Ravana had 10 heads, right? So whenever Ramchandra actually had only one. It's not he had 10 heads on his shoulder. He had only one. But if that was cut off, he got a new one. At least that doesn't make sense. But the purpose is that he constantly, when Ramchandra cut off his head, a new one would get on. And a new one would get on. So that's often how the anattas is. So what ultimately Ramchandra did, he was told by Bhishma that you should aim an arrow at his heart. Because in the heart, the nature is gathered there, is immortality nature. So if that is dried up, then he will die. So that we should do, we should go for the essence. We should just kill the demonic tendencies at the root. So that's the easy way of anatani vritti. The more difficult part is going through them step by step. But that's what happens for most of us. We just go step by step and then gradually gradually anatas disappear. And then what happens is there's some degree of higher taste. It might not be the ultimate taste, but there's some degree of higher taste. And then that keeps us going. And what will then happen is then the taste disappears again, and the anatas comes back. Maybe not the exact same anatta, but maybe a new, because there's so many anattas, so they just keep coming like this. So we just have to be determined. Oh, here we go again. Right? And just take the fight. And that's our life. We are fighting against Maya and embracing Krishna. So the embrace of Krishna gives us the energy to keep fighting. So we need to learn to enjoy Krishna consciousness. That's embracing Krishna. And then we need to, by hearing again and again, we need to be able to go on and fight. Fight. That especially means chanting our words. Especially there. Because that's really where we make the most progress. That's ultimately where it ends up. That we have to be able to chant purely. So if we do that, that's anatta. That means the anattas disappear. Thank you very much. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki